Next up, we have Jill Reilly, who's going to come up to the stage. And for the past 30 years, Jill has been working around the globe, helping people navigate profound change. And it's given her an unparalleled education in human growth and adaptation. She's captured those lessons in her new book, The 10 Permissions. And her aim today is to help people navigate this beautifully chaotic world with confidence, clarity, and a whole lot of courage. Please welcome Jill.
Thank you.
Thanks. Pleasure.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Liz. My goodness. We actually did not coordinate, but her last point teed me up so nicely, it's a little bit crazy. So I want you to kind of put that theme of self-authorization, self-permission, like I'm picking up that baton right now, and I am absolutely running with it. I'm so thrilled to be here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit dubious about sort of performative Women's Day stuff, like boss lady rah-rah stuff. So I will have you know that I said no to certain things today. I was like, I am not going to be trotted out for your little Women's Day dog and pony show, but I will be here. I will absolutely be in a room of like unbelievably powerful women who are already powerful and creative, ready to go out and create their own paths. So I just want to say thank you so much for being with me, and come on in and take a seat. And I had a very, very different opening to this talk until about a week ago, when a conversation with an old colleague, a friend, a woman who I respect deeply, changed my perspective on this theme of unstoppable, and particularly permission to be unstoppable. This woman has her MBA from the University of California at Berkeley. She started 2 of her own companies. She's on several boards. She lives this super glamorous London life. I'm slightly in awe of her. And so I got on this call, like expecting to have a usual sort of rah-rah, let's go thing. And when the Zoom call opened, I was a little bit taken aback. She looked exhausted. Her face was drawn. What really struck me was that she hadn't even tried to kind of plaster on a smile. And I was like, what's wrong? She was like, I'm just exhausted. And I was like, yeah, I thought we were about to go into, I'm exhausted as sort of a preamble for every talk right now between 2 women of a certain age and a certain point in their life. So I thought we were going to go through our respective to-do lists. But something told me that this was different. And she was just quiet. And she said, I'm so tired of being good. I immediately knew what she meant. She said, I'm so tired of the rat race of always having to be good, of always feeling like I have to be better than everybody else in the room. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, you feel that way? I didn't know what to say. What was I going to say? Pep talk? Bitch session? What do you say? And she said, I'm on my knees, Jill. I am so tired. I don't know if I have anything left. And she was like, and then I was like, oh, and kind of out of nowhere, she was like, what do you think it would be like if every woman thought they could go out into the world and be their authentic selves? And I held on to that, and a few days later I was like, we'd probably be unstoppable, wouldn't we? So what that conversation made me realize is that we need permission to be unstoppable. And in order to be the kind of unstoppable that we want to be, we need to start rewriting some of the rules. Because of course there are 2 kinds of unstoppable, aren't there? Most of the women I know are the first kind. We won't let ourselves stop. We never stop. Certainly women of my generation, yes, card-carrying Gen X here, who were kind of the first ones let into the workplace, right? And make no mistake, we felt like we were being let in by male gatekeepers because it was their rightful place. They'd been there, and they were letting us in. And so we were grateful, right? And so we felt we had to prove ourselves, not once in order to get hired, but over and over and over again. Because the reality of feeling like you've been let in is that you're aware that you can be kicked out. And it doesn't take much, does it? So your allowance into that room, your acceptance in that room is tenuous. It's always up for grabs. One small move, you're out. You see? We knew she didn't belong here. We were so excited to be let into the rooms, to be given the titles, to be at that flipping table that we're all supposed to want to be at, that we worked our asses off. We were the first ones to raise our hands. Yeah, I'll do it. Sure, yeah. First one's in, last one's out, responding to your message in 3 seconds. I'll do it. We were like hungry overachievers, so we were like, I'll show you that I'm good, right? And maybe if I keep showing you over and over and over, I'll feel like I belong here. I'll feel like I am one of the senior leaders, that I don't have to go, am I? The system loves us. We are workhorses, right? We put in the hours. Our productivity keeps businesses running over all around the world. But does it translate into power? Does it translate into authority? We don't need to worry about shattering glass ceilings because we end up shattered. Half of the women I know are shattered because they have been being good since the day they sat at a desk at school, since the day that they sat at their desk at work. They felt like they had to keep proving themselves over and over and over again. And the system doesn't have to stop us. We end up stopping. The statistics prove it. We opt out. We're done. We're on our knees. We're so tired from always working and proving over and over and over again. So that's the kind of unstoppable that I think we've sort of conditioned ourselves to be in many ways, but that's not the one we're talking about here today, is it? We're talking about the second one. We're talking about nothing can stop me. I can keep going. I'm not afraid. And what I'm saying, and what Liz started to say, is that takes a whole lot of work and a whole lot of self-permission. Because everything that got you into that room is being a good girl, being an overachiever. I'm sort of guessing that every woman in this room is an overachiever. You were good. Not only were you good, you were better. And those good girl rules condition you to be pleasing, to be able to get praise. Within that good girl mindset, you're working in a sort of acceptance economy where you trade compliance for approval, where it's, I want to be good, but I don't want to show off, do I? So you can't speak up too loudly. If you take credit for something that's good, well, look at you. You're selfish. Happened just, I don't know if you followed this, but just last week, the English women's football team won the World Cup, and there was all sorts of stuff over the media because the woman who was the captain ran around with the cup, and it was like, oh, look at her. Oh, she's so selfish, and she's such a show-off. So the minute you're too visible at being good, well, then you're showing off. If you push back, she's very difficult, isn't she? So what do you learn to do? You learn to be humble. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, but not too big. Not too big, but just enough, right? You're always kind, otherwise you're a bitch, right? You're instantly a bitch, but somehow you're still supposed to be powerful. Interesting. Modest, but still ambitious, right? The hardest worker and the highest achiever. And how many women do I know are trying to exist in this space that's untenable? And I call it the too much, not enough space. One step in either direction, and that allowance into the room, the invitation into the room, it's gone. You see, we always knew she wasn't strong enough. We always knew she was going to be a bit too aggressive, right? So within that space, it's almost impossible for anybody to really tap in to their own authority, as Liz talked about, right? It's very, very hard when you're always trying to please, when you're taking the temperature of every room you enter into to say, how am I supposed to behave? And I hear it from women all the time. Should I wear lipstick? I mean, Liz spoke about it. What am I supposed to look like? How am I supposed to act? So that constant calibration of your acceptability is exhausting. That constantly trying to be pleasing and good saps us of the power and the authority to step into rooms believing that we belong there. What I'm talking about is undertaking in yourself a very intentional transition from the good girl rules that got you just so far, that will only ever get you so far, into a different kind of set of rules of authority and of good leadership, okay? One that goes from focusing on achievement to authority. And again, I can't believe Liz teed all this up for me, but here we are. And what I call is kind of moving from a mindset of hours to impact, right? From look at everything I've done, you see? Look at it all. To here's what I can do. Here are the things I choose to do. Here are the things I believe I should be able to do, right? From productivity to permission. So from, can I do it? Please let me do it so I can show you how good I am, to I am allowing myself to do the things that I believe I need to do. And what do some of those things look like? They're the hard conversations. It's asking for a raise. It's saying no to things because they don't pay you enough or because they don't recognize where you are in your career. It's taking risks. It's putting your hand up for the big job. It's all the things the good girls were afraid to do because we were afraid we'd get in trouble if we did that. It's the things that you're afraid you're going to be judged for because somebody might think you're too much. But those are the places where careers are made. And those are the places where happiness is felt. And those are the spaces in which you go from, can I, to, I can. Only you can do that for yourself. Nobody's coming to give you that permission slip, okay? It's yours. But that is what you need to do to navigate from good girl to a good leader that feels like she is driving her own career, that she is making the space for herself. And the thing is, I see this, I wish I could have said that it was just my generation. I have 2 teenage sons. The leadership at the schools, the achievements at the schools, it's all girls. Girls are kicking boys' asses at school. We know that. Because they're the first ones, I can do it. Their hair is perfect. Yes, ma'am. And they are in for the wake-up of a lifetime when they head out into the world of work. Because they don't give a damn about your achievements. It's a different set of rules. It works on power. It works on authority. It's not handing you a certificate because you worked until 3 o'clock last night. So achievement is not the currency, right? Authority is. But we've never been allowed to step into our own authority. But that's what we have to do. That's the work that we have to do with ourselves, with each other. It's about embracing a different kind of logic. And I've just said all of this, I'm a product of lean in world. Old Cheryl told us if we just worked harder and pushed harder, they're all going to go, oh, ladies, come on in. Has it happened? No. Instead, you've got remarkable women on their knees because they have been leaning in so long they're falling over. Okay, so work it harder. Hide your body, your family, your emotions, and sometimes your best ideas. You know, it's the constant sort of, as Liz said, you know, I had to sort of cosplay masculinity in order to be accepted and given my slip into the room. And then I was grateful. I was so grateful that I was there that I wouldn't take any risks. There was no way once I was at the table that I was going to give that up, would I? And so my constantly seeking acceptance while at that table is critical. And again, Liz started to talk about this already. I want you to start to think of a different kind of logic, ones that owns your femininity and your female leadership style. There is no doubt in my mind that leadership is still coded as masculine. It is still coded as decisive and visionary and tough. That's changing, and I'm about to talk about that in a minute. But that's still, it hangs with us. Whoa. How many young women do I work with who say, all of my role models are male? What does that mean? And what does it mean that high school, unbelievably capable women are coming out of high school and they still have a tiny handful of women to look at and go, that's who I want to be? Still, what does that mean? Liz talked about intentionality, and I want you to think about intentionally building a career, not just being grateful that you have the job, not just settling into the corporate hierarchy, but build it, drive it, it's yours, create it. And most of all, and this is what's really important for this moment and this talk, because this isn't just another down with the patriarchy thing, rah, rah, you can do it. Believe that you are custom made for this moment. Believe it. Believe it. You're not there by the grace of somebody else to fill a couple of seats. You're made for this. Why? Because we're living in a crazy world. We are living in a wild, wild world. I don't have to tell any of you that, okay? This is a graph that shows you the kind of reality of uncertainty and change that has happened over the past 3 decades. So what does that mean? It means that, you know, the world is unpredictable, nothing is linear, we're being challenged every day to adapt, to be flexible. The linear career paths are falling apart. The hierarchies are coming undone. AI is about to take all of our jobs. So this world is tossing that old logic out. You don't even have to do it. It's doing it for you. It's a great moment for you to step into this and say, okay, this is not 1975 or 1985 where the boys told us what to do. Women are unbelievably suited for a very disruptive world, and we know that. Everywhere we go, we see this. So the face of leadership is changing, and it looks more like a woman. Because guess what? To have gotten into this room, you will have soft skills by the dozen. You have learned this. You have earned this. You have had to be facilitative, empathetic. You've had to listen to people you probably didn't even want to listen to. You've had to feel your way into rooms that you didn't feel allowed in and figure out how to manage people who look nothing like you. We're always in rooms where we're probably among the only people who look like us. We know how to manage relationships. We know how to juggle. These soft skills are now gold, and they're us. Right? So we're moved from this industrial age to a knowledge economy, and now we're moving on from that into a world where maybe we can say leadership doesn't have to be coded as masculine. Maybe we are what it looks like. Maybe I'm okay, just as I am. More than that, and this is really important. I think for a very long time, we have been told that good looks like scaling the ranks of corporates. The corner office, that bloody seat at the table, that was what we were told to want. That was what we were supposed to want, right? And guess what? It's a nightmare for a lot of us, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, because moving your way through those hierarchies as a woman who has babies, who has family, who has life, is very, very hard. And the good news is that the corporates are getting unraveled as well. All around the world, they're laying off people left, right, and center. Middle management is getting cut out. That graph is a US-based graph, but it's going to apply to the world. More and more and more people are deciding to do their own thing because they have to, because they want to. So maybe your idea of good doesn't have to look like, oh, I want to be the head of accounting at da-da-da, and if I get that, then I'll make it. If it does, great, but allow yourself to imagine another way forward in a very disruptive world, where maybe what you create and what you offer looks very, very different than what your mother did or your father did. This was in the New York Times less than a month ago. Redefining what ambition looks like. You're allowed. You are allowed. And I want you to. You must. You won't have an option. Allow yourself to think, what is it that my version of good looks like? It doesn't have to be a role that somebody else created. Maybe it's something that I created. Maybe it's something that me and my colleagues create together, okay? Because there are so many women who've already worked out that there are a lot of good stories to be told, a lot of success stories to be made, and it's your story. You can go off and make it yourself, okay? Girl Boss can take a number of different forms. It can be a creative business. It can be all sorts of things, but you have to permit yourself. I think one of the biggest things the good girl never did was stand out. I mean, if she got all 7 distinctions, fine. But mostly, you were told to keep yourself right at that place where you were hugely productive, but not quite too much. And I think that was a world in which there were just so many seats for us, there were just so many things we're allowed to do. But the invitation right now, the requirement increasingly in that crazy world, where there aren't going to be so many straight paths forward, is for you to give yourself permission to stand out a little bit. And that's what my book is about. So I describe it as a playbook for navigating adult life in the chaos of the 20th century, because I think we do need to be intentional about how we find our way forward in that world where change is happening faster and deeper and only promises to get more so. That a lot of us are working with an old playbook in our heads and in our hearts, and we don't necessarily feel allowed to create new rules. We're not sure if it's okay for us to do something because maybe our family or our community has expectations of us. We have expectations for ourselves of the title we should have or the car that we should own or by what age we're supposed to be in our own flat. We have stories that we have been given, some of which we just took without even thinking about it. And those stories shape our understanding of who we think we're allowed to be and what we think we're allowed to become and how big we think we're allowed to dream about what do I want to offer this world. And with my 10 permissions, I'm hoping to provide you some guidance, some information, some provocation to say, what would it look like to do this differently? These are the 10 permissions. Dun, dun, dun. Each one of them is a very, very, very intentional play on sort of the old success story, the old should story, the old this is what good looks like. Okay? Some of them raise eyebrows. Oh, no, I love number 9. You love number 9. Everybody loves number 9. Especially women. We're like, yeah, I'm going to go look for trouble. That's right. That's what I get to do. I'm going to go through them quickly. I don't have time to delve deeply into them, but let's take a look. Be willful. Whew. That's the most dangerous thing in the world, isn't it? A willful woman. Nobody likes that. She's a problem. In that crazy world, you've got to tap into your will, your want. What do you want? Okay? Because the old wants are quickly becoming outdated. Okay? And there's a whole lot of new things you can want if you set yourself out to discover them. All right? Don't outsource your want to some influencer or some tired old story. Decide what you want. Know what you want. And here's the thing. Allow yourself to want something that feels maybe a little bit odd, maybe a little bit unique. The world doesn't need more competent. The world needs more crazy, more creative, more courageous. It needs you in your fullest. And in that space, use your yes and your no, because those are your like lightsabers. Women say, yes, 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 I'll do it, fine, yes. Use no. No. I don't want to. Whew. And if somebody has a problem with that, well, let them have a problem and deal with their problem with you saying no. Your yes and your no are your tools that you're going to use to find your way forward. Use them. Go astray. Ooh, we also don't like women going astray. That's for sure. Linear career paths are unraveling already. It's not one thing leads to another anymore, but the simple reality is that linear career paths never worked for women. They never did. Because guess what? Right in the middle, some of us want to have kids. Or we have to go and look after families. There's always an interruption in the line. So you need to engineer for that. Okay, stop being like surprised when, oops, I'm trying to climb this ladder and there's a problem. Engineer change into your life. Accept the fact that it's going to be curvy and roundy. And yes, even if you decide to pause and do something else for your family, for your community, for yourself, treat that as a learning exercise. Leverage it. Don't be ashamed of it. Take it outside. Keep stepping out. It's very easy to get like this. Head down, ladder climbing, dutiful. You don't have time to look up. You don't have time to network. You don't have time to learn. I want you to keep stepping out, stepping into new rooms, stepping into new conversations, because that's how you keep showing up. That's how you keep mining your own authority. That's the only way to do it. And in that, you'll experiment. Woo! We've never been told we could experiment. Try things. Take small risks. Okay? Don't wait until it's like, oh, I have to leave here and now I'm going to try something brand new that feels very risky. See your life as a lot of little small bets. We are always trying new things. A little small risk that if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Take the course. Join the club. Put the idea out. Do it. Try things. That's how you keep sort of oiling your ability to grow and change. Feel your way. Female intuition, female instinct. Never ever been seen, never been validated, never been seen as a tool for guidance. But in a disruptive world where it's very hard to know what's real and what isn't, what's right and what's wrong, your instinct, your intuition is critical. You have it, use it. There's a voice inside of you. Trust it. Trust it. It's valid. It is your compass. So stop looking around for somebody else to tell you what's right and what's wrong. For you, use that voice inside of you to guide you forward. Okay, these two freak people out a lot. Forget about the future and think small. And by this, I mean a lot of women get stuck on, okay, my goal is to become the CEO of this company within 20 years, and they have this big, long dream. And then they sort of slog towards it, and they get stuck, and they get tired, and they get overwhelmed. And so what I want you to do is have your plans, fine, but put them in your back pocket and allow them to change, allow them to adapt, keep showing up, keep being willing to try new things, okay? Because you don't know what the future looks like, and you don't want to hang yourself on something that might shift between here and there. And within that, think small. Small steps. It's okay if you don't have that 5-year plan. It's okay if you can't see beyond next year. Be really present to the here and now and allow that to teach you. Allow yourself to become as sort of adaptive as you can to the changing conditions. Travel light. I don't want you to be somebody who's on her knees when she's 52, because she's so tired and she's so burdened. So don't be afraid to put things down. Women keep taking more and more and more and more on. It's okay to say no. I'm done. I'm putting it down so that I can pick other things up when I'm ready and when I want to. We can talk about look for trouble more another time, but women avoid it because, of course, it gets us into trouble. But one of the things I talk about in the book is that trouble has been my best teacher. When I've been willing to work on something that was hard, when I've been there for the difficult conversations, when I haven't shied away from conflict because I was afraid of what people would think about me, those are the moments where careers are made. That is the space in which authority is burnished inside of you because you've been present to something that felt difficult. Don't run away from it because you're afraid it's going to hurt your reputation. And lastly, make believe. Make things you believe in. Believe that you can make things. We are the ultimate makers of things. We make things every friggin' day. Children and meals and art projects and this and that and gardens and bread and this and that. We are the world's creators. But somehow we don't own that. Own it. Because as this world gets more disruptive, and you can't just put your head down and do your job, and you're going to be forced to look around and figure things out a little bit more, you've got to believe in your power to create things. And none of this, as is the theme of today's conference, is done alone. Who remembers this? Oh, sorry. I still have this next to my desk. It was the Olympics when Simone Biles lost the floor. And she came out and she honored the winner from Brazil, who was, to be crude, kind of a nobody. And there these women were celebrating each other. The single most insidious reality that has seeped into our consciousness is, as Liz referenced, that there's only space for a few of us. So what does that do? Of course it turns us against each other. Of course it feels like scarcity. It has been scarcity. It is still scarce. But the only way to overcome that scarcity is together. By, as she said, going together, celebrating together, recognizing each other. It is ridiculous that in this day and age we are dealing with fewer women in leadership instead of more. And why is that? Because they get burned out and tired of trying to be the one. So forget that, do it together. It's not just up to you. You're in a room of women who are all trying to do the same things. And we're all trying to make stories and lives that feel satisfying. Okay? You have one life, you have one career. One. And you have choices. So make them. Make them. If you're in this room, you have lots of choices. Because we all know that there are people out there who'd give anything to be in this room, whose idea of success is being in this exact room. So don't act like you've got 2 choices when you've got 20. Make your choices and make them well. Because in this crazy world, you can. All right? Don't sit around waiting for permission to make those choices or follow some dusty old playbook that has left the most brilliant women in the world on their knees. Don't do it. You don't have to. I'm here to help. I have my book, which is, for me, about individual permission. It's about each of us owning that authority that Liz started to talk about. How do we do that? How do we start a permissions practice in our own lives? How do we begin to tap that authority? But it's more than that. It's about a community. We cannot do this alone. We should not do this alone. We've been told for the longest time it was a single-player game. It doesn't have to be. So I'm also creating a community of people to come together and navigate their lives with intention and boldness. And I really, really want to encourage all of you to move beyond the feeling that all of this is on you. It doesn't have to be. Every one of us is trying to find our way forward with as much courage as we can. And self-permission and personal authority becomes so much easier when we start to do it together. And then all of a sudden, all those individual permission slips become social permission. It becomes us doing it together. And that is when I think we might actually be able to start to go from not allowing ourselves to stop to truly being unstoppable together. Thanks so much. Can I also say, the books are over there. I'm selling my books today. Well, come on.
Plug.
I'm a saleswoman. I'm a business lady. You will actually be the first people in the world to be able to get these books because they are not available until the 16th of September in the United States. But for this one time only, I am here with my books, so I will be over there in the corner selling them and also just welcoming conversation about this very, very visceral and challenging and exciting theme of personal authority and self-permission. So please come and find me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jill Reilly.